In this video I'm going to do an example of a relatively simple quadratic problem solving question. Okay, so the question I'm going to look at is this one here, question 2. The sum of a number and its reciprocal is 5 1/5. Find the number. So the first step is to allocate a pronumeral to what it is we're trying to find, in this case a number. So we start by making a statement: let the number be some pronumeral, most commonly x. Okay, so that's step one. Step two is to form an equation based on the information we have. So we've got the sum of a number we've called x now, and its reciprocal, and the answer is 5 1/5. So let's turn that into an equation. We've got a number, x, plus its reciprocal, so that will be 1 over x. And the answer is, that equals 5 1/5. Now it's going to be easier to solve this using an improper fraction rather than a mix, so we'll convert 5 1/5 to 26 over 5. Okay, now in order to solve this equation, it's going to be pretty tricky when we've got x as the denominator. So the first thing I'm going to try and do is get rid of x being on the denominator by timesing every term by x. And also, to make life a bit easier and not have to deal with a fraction over here, I'm going to times every term by 5 as well, so we don't have any more fractions. Okay, as long as we times every term by the same number, the equation will still balance and we'll get the correct answer. So I'm going to times every term by 5x. So that gives me 5x Oops, don't know what happened there. Let me just erase that. Something strange happened, now it's come back again. Anyway, 5x squared plus 5 equals 26x. Okay, so every term times by 5x results in this. Now the following step is to rearrange this equation so that we have all our terms on the left, leaving just 0 on the right. So that will give us 5x squared minus 26x plus 5 equals 0. Now we need to solve the quadratic. There's a number of options that you can use. You can use factorization, completing the square, quadratic formula, technology, etc., etc. So the best method to use in each individual situation, it's something that just comes with practice, and you start to realize the best way of going in each case. I'm going to use factorization in this case because it doesn't look too horrible. So in order to factorize this equation now, I realize that the coefficient of the x squared term is 5, so I need to use splitting the x term. So the first step, and I'll write it over here, is to times the x squared coefficient and the constant together, and we get 5 times 5 equals 25. Now I need to come up with two numbers that when times together are 25 and added together are minus 26. Now those two factors are going to be minus 1 and minus 25. So those factors, let's just check. Minus 1 times minus 25 does indeed give positive 25, and minus 1 plus minus 25 does indeed give us minus 26. So these are the two factors that we're going to use to split our x term. So splitting our x term now, we get 5x squared minus x minus 25x plus 5 equals 0. And I'll just use a different colour here. And so now we're going to factorise each half of this individually. Okay, so if we factorise just the left of the red line here, the common factor is going to be x. So I take out x and I'm left with 5x minus 1. Now on the right hand side here, I'm going to take out the factor of minus 5. Remembering, when we factorise, we don't want to have a minus in front of the x, so I'm going to take out minus 5 rather than positive 5. So I take minus 5 out here, leaving us 5x minus 1 equals 0. Quick little check that the numbers in the brackets are the same. They are, so it looks like I've done the right thing. So this factorises down to 5x minus 1 times x minus 5 equals 0. Okay, so now using the null factor law to solve for x could be 5, or x could be 1/5. And that is the answer to our problem. And as you can see, we're left with a number and its reciprocal, and that makes sense because the reciprocal of 1/5 is 5, and the reciprocal of 5 is 1/5. So we have two answers, 5 and 1/5, that solve our problem.